Good evening, viewers. You're watching GW News Recap. I'm Azin Jamir, bringing to you the top stories of the week. Let's have a look at the stories of the week that mattered to the headlines. Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiru, along with Deputy CMs Y. Patten and T.R. Ziliang and other state cabinet ministers met Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi on November 21. Dead bodies of 9 people killed during November 11 to 17 violent clashes in Chiripam were returned to their home districts on November 22. The Supreme Court has questioned the delay in carrying out a delimitation exercise in the northeastern states of Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Assam. Now let's have a look at the top stories of the week in details. Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiru, along with Deputy Chief Ministers Y. Patten and T.R. Ziliang and other state cabinet ministers met with Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi on November 21. The discussions focus on several critical issues, including the Naga political issue, the frontier Nagaland demand and the ongoing border disputes with Assam. CM Rio shared on social media that the meeting addressed key concerns such as the Naga political process, the situation in eastern Nagaland and the state's border issues with Assam. The state's government also presented its position on the proposed Frontier Nagaland Territorial Authority, which has been a significant demand in the region's political discourse. This meeting follows the Nagaland's cabinet decision to expedite the resolution of the Naga issue, signaling a push for timely progress on long-standing political matters. Minister Timchin Imnaalong also expressed satisfaction with the meeting, calling it a positive step towards a united and prosperous future for Nagaland. The discussions are viewed as a significant development in both the political and infrastructure landscape of Nagaland. The Deputy Commissioner Chumukitima Bolanjon has issued a notification informing all landowners and village councils within the proposed Naga city area that a detailed acquisition survey will be conducted. This survey is part of the process to establish Naga city in Chate Valley, located under the Matsibima subdivision of Chumukitima district. The survey will take place on specific dates and locations. It will be conducted from November 25 to 26 in Molvom, Matsibima, from November 28 to 29 in New Sukunoma, from December 2 to 3 in Ruzapema between the highway and railway track, and from December 4 onwards in the remaining area of Ruzapema village below the highway. The land survey will begin at 8 a.m. on each scheduled date. All concerned landowners are requested to be present on the specified dates for the survey of the plots and adjoining areas. Dead bodies of 9 people killed during November 11 to 17 violent clashes in Chiripam were returned to their home district on November 22. The victims, who include 6 members of the same family and 2 senior citizens, were handed over to their families after post-mortem examinations at Assam's Silchar Medical College and Hospital. On November 11, 6 family members, which included a woman and infant, were abducted by Kuki militants and were later found to have been killed in captivity, whose bodies were later retrieved from the Parak River. Police sources said the attack coincided with a counter-operation by the Central Reserve Police Force, in which 10 militants were killed in an encounter in Chiripam's Boropakra village. The 2 elderly Meitei community individuals who lost their lives in the Boropakra attack were gunned down and burned alive. Armed Kuki groups have been blamed for the violence, which the Manipur government has called terrorists in a cabinet resolution. According to some families, justice must be done. Relatives initially refused to accept the bodies unless there was a justice and a formal declaration that the attackers were militants. However, they agreed once NIS started acquiring into the matter. As the bodies were taken back to Chiripam, there was a gathering at various points to pay their respects from the people of Meitei community. The situation is tense in the region, with pressure on both state and central governments for peace and justice to be prevailed. The National People's Party withdrew its support to N. Biren Singh-led Manipur government. The national president of NPP, Conrad K. Sangma, has informed the president of BJP, Chakat Prakash Nada, on the decision taken by the NPP. NPP has 7 MLAs in the present 11th Manipur Legislative Assembly and supports the BJP-led government in Manipur. BJP has 32 MLAs. Presently, N. Biren Singh-led government is supported by NPF, CHDU and independent MLAs. The letter, written by Conrad K. Sangma, said that the NPP is concerned over the prevailing law and order situation in Manipur, and in the last few days, the situation has further deteriorated, where many more innocent lives have been lost. The letter further stated that the party felt that Manipur government under the leadership of Biren Singh had completely failed to resolve the crisis and restore normalcy, and NPP has decided to withdraw its support to the state government with immediate effect. The Supreme Court has questioned the delay in carrying out the delimitation exercise in the northeastern states of Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Assam despite the President's 2020 order rescinding the earlier deferment orders. A bench led by Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, questioned the centre on what was done to set the ball rolling to conduct the exercise, considering that it had been 4 years since the presidential order, which it observed was enough to proceed with the process. The court told Additional Solicitor General K.M. Natraj, appearing for the centre, that the delimitation exercise was a statutory mandate and had to be done. It asked him to take instructions regarding the issue, granting him further time to do the same and accordingly adjourned the case to January 2025. The counsel for the petitioner told the court that while delimitation took place in Assam last year, the exercise was yet to begin in the 3 other states. In response, the Additional Solicitor General said consultation is going on for Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland, but the situation in Manipur might not be conducive in the wake of the ethnic violence in the state. It was submitted on behalf of the Election Commission to begin delimitation. Directions from the centre are required under the Representation of the People's Act 1950, referring to Assam where such directions were issued. The court was considering a petition filed seeking immediate implementation of the delimitation exercise in the states. At least 37 people have been killed and over 2,000 others injured in tribal sectarian clashes in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province over the past 24 hours on November 23. More than 30 people were reported injured, the official added. The violent confrontation between the Alizai and Pagan tribes in the Kurram district near the Afghanistan border erupted after a deadly attack on a convoy of passenger vans near Parajinhar, which claimed 47 lives. Senior officials from the administration and police have been dispatched to the conflict zone via helicopter to address the escalating tensions. Despite efforts to restore order in the troubled area, communications from tribal elders indicate the potential for further escalations. A high-ranking government team, including the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Law Minister, Chief Secretary and Inspector General of Police, has been sent to the Kurram tribal district to help stabilize the region, officials confirmed. The delegation's mission is to address the security crisis in the district, which has been gripped by intense sectarian violence. Israeli airstrikes on November 23 in Central Beirut killed at least 20 people as the once rare attacks on the heart of Lebanon's capital continued without warning while diplomats scrambled to broker a ceasefire. Lebanon's health ministry said 66 people were wounded in the strikes, which were the 4th in Central Beirut in less than a week. The escalation comes after U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein traveled to the region in pursuit of a deal to end months of fighting between Israel and Hezbollah that has erupted into full-on war. Israeli attacks have killed more than 3,500 people in Lebanon, according to Lebanon's health ministry. The fighting has displaced about 1.2 million people, or a quarter of Lebanon's population. On the Israeli side, about 90 soldiers and nearly 50 civilians have been killed by the bombardment in northern Israel and the fighting. An 8-story building is turned to rubble. The 4 a.m. strikes destroyed an 8-story building in central Beirut. Hezbollah legislator Amin Shiri said no Hezbollah officials were inside. The attacks stripped the facades from some nearby buildings and crumpled cars. The Palestinian death toll from the 13-month-long war surpassed 44,000 this week, according to the health ministry, which doesn't distinguish between civilians and combatants in its count. It has said that more than half the dead are women and children. The Israeli military says it has killed over 17,000 militants without providing evidence. The war began when Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel on October 7, 2023, killing some 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and abducting another 250. Around 100 hostages are still inside Gaza, at least a third believed to be dead. Well, that's it for this week's top stories of the week. For more news and updates like this, you stay connected to Global Window. Good night.